Why are you so stubborn on this topic?
There's a tiger. Who kills a chicken? It's fine, right?
I'm intrigued by your personality in general. This was a tough conversation.
I do respect people's perspective majorly.
Also, we record this so that we can amplify our effort to reach out to a larger audience. So I hope you're doing fine today. Yeah. So I'll be asking you 3 questions and ask them all straight up. So the 3 questions are: do you think it's justified to kill a human being? Second question: do you think it's justified to kill a dog? And third question: do you think it's justified to kill a hen? And the underlying assumption in all the 3 scenarios is that the victims have done nothing wrong.
The victim has done nothing wrong. So I believe then, no, you shouldn't kill a human, you shouldn't kill a dog, nor a chicken.
Not a hen as well?
Yes.
Okay. But if you look how our society is built around us, anyone who consumes non-veg, and I chose hen specifically because that's the most abused animal in India from food consumption perspective. So do you think what people are doing around us, it's unjustified?
See, I'm a non-vegetarian too.
Okay.
And
I also come from a non-vegetarian family, so
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, it also depends on... I could be very ruthful to say this or ruthless, but it's at the end of the day, it's also purpose of life.
Okay.
But as human creatures, we could be selfish by saying that chickens have no, purpose of life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's part of the food chain, life cycle. But I feel like their contribution, if it finishes also, it does not justify much of it. So
Okay.
yeah.
So essentially you are kind of modifying the answer to the third question. You are saying it is justified to kill a hen because hens do not have a proper purpose of life. So
I'm saying if you can kill if you do not kill humans or do not kill dogs or hens, it's fine if you kill a hen or not to kill a hen as well.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially you are saying that the act of killing a hen is justified, and the reason for the justification is the purpose of life.
Purpose of life in comparison to human and dogs,
Okay.
because you chose the 2 of them.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you said that killing all the 3, then I denied they shouldn't be killed.
Yeah. So we
But
are
then
clear.
if it is a comparison then I feel like it's okay.
Okay. It's not a comparison per se. Those 3 are isolated questions, and what I get is that you are saying that it's not justified to kill a human. Period. It's not justified to kill a dog. Period. But it can be justified to kill a hen because they don't have any purpose of life.
So now that could be perspective of each one of us.
Yeah.
So for example, if I have a dog,
Yeah.
obviously I'm a dog lover and I wouldn't want my dog to be killed,
Yeah.
or any kind of a dog. And some person who lives in a farm or does poultry, some kind of stuff like that, would not like his chicken to be,
Okay.
to be killed or to kill other chicken as well.
But when we talk about justice, we talk from the perspective of the victim. Let's say if we go and kill the hen, and if we ask the hen, and if the hen could say, or for that matter, a dog could say, they would always say it's an injustice.
But the injustice is done by whom?
Humans.
Yes. So it comes back again to humans. So if
Okay.
the humans have empathy or sympathy,
Yeah.
to not kill a chicken, it's like fine. So for example, if randomly, hypothetically, if there is a tiger who kills a chicken, it's fine, right? Nobody says anything.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. So I get your point. Essentially, a tiger is killing a hen, or
Yeah.
a realistic example, deer.
Yes.
Then no one tells
nobody
the
would say
tiger, but
anything, yeah.
but when a human kills her, so that's where we are
Yes, that's
raising
where
the
the injustice comes. right?
injustice comes. Okay. So in that case, there are animals in the wild who also kill their own,
Yeah.
right? So if I draw the same logic, and there can be a human who perceives another human as a lesser being, or probably thinks of the other person who has no purpose, and goes ahead and abuses the human, right? And this is not a very far-fetched example. There are people who do that. The example of patriarchy would be something similar, where men think that women are lesser than them, and then they abuse them, right? Because in their head they think, maybe they don't say it out loud, but in their head they think that they are superior to women, and probably they have a higher purpose. A woman is there just as an object to fulfill the desire of men. So they have a similar rationale. The point that I'm trying to make is that if we go by this rationale that the perpetrator decides if it is justified or not, then it has very dangerous conclusion, right?
It does, but I don't support your
Okay.
answer, because how you said that.
Yeah.
That if a human abuses another human, so obviously we do have human brains and there is society. Forget society also. I mean to say, if animal is killing another animal, it is because probably of self-defense or because of the food chain or the cycle or something. It's not like if I eat you or you eat me, it does not make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that is your answer actually. That the reason why we don't question a lion or a tiger when they kill a deer is because what you said, they are not doing it out of malice.
Yes.
They are not doing it out of desire. They are doing it because of the nature of their existence. But when a human abuses another human or a dog or a hen, it's a conscious choice that we are making. So hence the broad point that I'm trying to drive is that it's not very wise of us to compare ourselves with lions and all these animals in their actions, especially to take cues of how to act in our society, right? So then if that is not the case, again coming back to the earlier question, then what can be the justification for killing hens?
I'm a non-vegetarian and I love chicken.
I can totally relate to that. I'm from Lucknow, by the way. If you're a non-vegetarian, you would know that Lucknow is the Mughlai cuisine capital, right? Kebabs and all. So I can totally relate to that. I've been brought up with that taste. But the question that we should be asking ourselves is that is it justified to kill a hen because of our taste pleasures?
I would say yes.
There can be a person who says it's justified for me to abuse another human because I derive pleasure out of it.
Whatever happens at the end of the day, if I say no, it is not justified and I walk away, I know today night I'm going to eat chicken. Rather, I say to my point and I say it's very unempathetic of me because the chickens don't have, like, they don't speak or, like, they are not part of the society
A
as
6-month-old child also can't speak.
They do not, like, play a role of a human like we do, go speaking around, making society, making a humanitarian boundaries.
As in, I didn't get it. What is the difference between a 6-month-old child and a hen? Is what I'm asking.
Is this a human who has brain and
Where chicken has a brain?
a brain that is going to be grown up and have?
Okay.
It's just an animal, which is a chicken, which does not have much of a major purpose or in
But
life.
who gets to decide the purpose? There are humans who are causing deterioration in our society, whose purpose is probably negative. We should then, by that regard, we should kill them or what?
I mean, humans are also very smart because, like, they want the taste palette. At the same time, it will help the economy also to grow because they're going to do commercialization of it and they're going to help in reproduction of it.
Yeah.
So it is not that it's going to go extinct or like it would just reduce.
Yeah, but then you are seeing all hens who are born today and who will be born tomorrow as one single entity, right? And that is erasure of individualization because it's easier to see them in a group because when you see one individual, you see the victimization, right? And again, someone can give a very similar argument and create a human trafficking industry. In fact, people do that, right? That
For me, that is wrong, but killing a chicken is not that wrong.
Of course, you have already established that, but we are trying to get at a consistent reasoning. Like if this is right, then why is that wrong? That is what we are trying to get at.
We're just humans and we live in a world where everyone speaks for everything. And killing a human being is just much greater of an offense as that of a chicken.
How I see it personally, like we should never compare suffering of two individuals. For example, two humans also, if they suffer something similar, we should not compare their suffering. But in absolute sense, if something is wrong from the victim's perspective, should we not think about our position in life? And what you are saying essentially is the textbook definition of privilege, that I'm doing something which is benefiting me, but at the same time is victimizing someone else. But I don't want to change because life is good this way.
So you're in a room and there are like mosquitoes and you don't have a mosquito repellent and a mosquito sits on your skin. What are you going to do? You're going to hit it?
So in that case, I'll try to shoo away the mosquito, but if it comes to that, probably I'll hit the mosquito and kill the mosquito. But I'm not inconsistent in doing so because when I asked you the 3 questions, I said that the underlying assumption is that the victim has done nothing wrong. In case of mosquito, the mosquito is harming me actively by biting me and probably giving me a life-threatening disease. So it's self-defense. But in case of hens or goats or cows or buffaloes or dogs or any random human who has done nothing wrong to us, absolutely nothing wrong to us, like how do we justify trapping them, enslaving them, killing their friends and family members in front of their eyes and eventually killing them, right? Hens are social beings. They can relate, they can form bonds with their friends, and every day their friends and family members are killed in front of them and eventually they are also killed.
I can get it, but I won't be bothered by the thought of it.
Then again, coming back to the earlier question, what if a person says that I'm not bothered by the victimization of other human? What are we going to tell them?
No. I mean, I respect your wherever you're moving forward for improving the society and probably making a thought to a person's mind.
Yeah.
but then it wouldn't change mine today.
Okay. So and that's very honest of you. I would just like to ask you, like, why are you so stubborn on this topic? Even though there is no argument per se, like we went through all the arguments. Ultimately, you stuck to your point that you would like to participate in animal abuse because that is satiating your taste palette, right? And you were very calm when you did it. So I'm intrigued by your personality in general. So just would like to ask you, like, why do you take such a hard stand?
Okay, so I would change my perspective if it's a thing of humans being talked about or animals of a bigger kind of a source. But then I do respect people's perspective majorly. Like in life in general, I do believe like you should listen to the other person and what they have to say.
Yeah.
And you should also let people know of your perspective and why you take the stand.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that if you are saying that I have to accept it, or if I'm saying something you have to accept it. It's all about perspective. And when you listen to the other person and their arguments they have to say, then you have a bigger sense at large, and then you gain a lot of things from them.
And that's a very right way to go about the whole philosophy of life, to be open-minded, to listen to others, present your perspective, and then listen to their perspective. But like after listening to others' perspective, and if we don't have a consistent reasoning, then don't you think that we should also take a stance one step ahead and introspect about our life choices and change?
You should introspect about it, because if it gave you a thought, probably later on,
Yeah.
maybe not in the moment, because what stand you have taken in the present moment, you have been very consistent about it. And I think if you're a calm person and who listens to other people, I think you should go on and listen to other more people, and then maybe introspect on your thought, and then probably take change if you want to.
Okay. So if I have to ask this bluntly, so what will it take for a person like you to become a vegan?
I don't know. I really don't know.
And you said you're a dog lover, right? Yeah. Have you ever patted a hen in your life?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
And how was that feeling?
It was okay. It's about connection with whom you connect.
Yeah.
And I connect more with my dog,
Yeah.
and I didn't connect with the hen. Probably I didn't spend much time with.
Yeah.
But probably if I would have to say something, then I would say probably spending more time, and then you living some few days, hours, years, probably with a chicken for you too.
Okay. So essentially, and what's your name? I didn't ask your name. Sorry, earlier.
My name is.
Nice name. So for Chia to become a vegan, you are saying essentially that if you spend more time with farmed animals, then you might become a vegan
Not
someday.
Vegan, but probably not a person who consumes non-vegetarian. See, I don't get a purpose or not of being a vegan. I mean,
by vegan, I
what's
mean
wrong
forget the
having
term.
cow milk.
You want me to answer that?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So cows or buffaloes, they are subjected to their first pregnancy right at the time of puberty. That is around 1.5 years old. And then they are subjected to continuous cycles of pregnancy. Every year they have a similar pregnancy cycle as human. Every year they are subjected to pregnancy. All the way up to the age of 8 or 9. That is when their body cannot endure any more pregnancy. What is the product of pregnancy?
Another cow.
A baby calf, right? And who are they making milk for?
For the calf.
For the calf,
Yeah.
right? So if you think about it, it's a very logical thing that if the calf drinks the milk, it is directly cutting into the profit or the revenue of the dairy farmer. So they are not given full quota of the milk. So essentially that milk is stolen from them. What do you think is happening to the male calves in the dairy industry?
They are left on the street most of the time.
Most of the time. That is if they are Indian origin cows. If they are buffaloes, if they are Jersey cows, they are sent to leather industry or the beef industry. The same is happening to the mother as well. And it's a destruction of motherhood. It's a destruction of life. It's also a feminist issue. Why? Because one, they are losing autonomy of their body. Secondly, the method of pregnancy. It is a very cumbersome process for the farmer to get a bull and make them mate with the female. Instead, rampant method that is practiced today is called artificial insemination, where the semen of the bull is collected, and then someone, a human, will wear a glove and will insert their hands inside the private parts of the cow or the buffalo. 4 people will hold their leg, and then they will insert their whole hand inside their private parts to place the semen so that they get pregnant. A vegan is someone who, like I said earlier, is someone who doesn't want to participate in rights violation of these animals, who doesn't want to cause violence to these animals, and hence a vegetarian who becomes, or someone who becomes a vegetarian for animal ethics eventually turns vegan. So I became a vegetarian for animal ethics for 6 months, and then I learned about the dairy industry, and that's when I became a vegan. So yeah.
I mean, see, if in India you see there is very less people who are vegan,
Right.
and then also there are like many factors of it, and also people who are vegan, they are either very rich or they come from a very like upper middle class families. It's also because even if you're talking about abuse and stuff like that, or sexual abuse with cows or things like that, but then at the end of the day it is also about the economy and the per capita income and how much the money comes to a household and how much the product is reachable. So for example, so you'll have probably plant-based milk. So plant-based milk is pretty expensive. It's very expensive. So I feel like the problem with India is also the economy and
Okay.
the money that comes to per person.
Yeah. So when you talk about the economy or earning of a person to afford vegan products, then you are thinking from a solution perspective. Someone has aligned on the ethics of animal rights, and then they want to implement it in their life, and that's where these products come in, right? And these are costlier products, and
And the approachability, availability, yeah.
true. So even I used to think in this way that vegan products is equal to almond milk and avocados, and which is so costly and we can't afford it. But if you think about it, the traditional Indian plant-based diet minus the butter, minus the ghee, is plant-based by default. Dal, chawal, rajma, chola, dosa, idli, all of this is vegan by default. So the
But like I'm talking about the substitutes of like
yeah,
milk.
yeah, exactly. So in substitutes, again, we have to think from two ways. One is what are we trying to substitute for? We can substitute for two things. One is the taste aspect of things. Second is the nutrition aspect of things. Nutrition aspect is the need part of things, right? It's the need. And we don't need an almond milk to substitute the nutrition from milk. From milk, we are essentially getting calcium and a little bit of protein, which we can fulfill from our other traditional Indian plant-based diet, right? And then comes the taste part of it, right? And that is desire. And that depends on the person. If one can afford it, they can go ahead and buy almond milk and soy milk. And let's say if they can't afford it, they are left with two options. Either they switch to a black coffee, which is what I did. But if someone has, let's say, a lot of time, they can make these plant-based milk at home.
Also, if you live in a family, it's not you who's changing your mind. It's like everyone in the family who has to change their mind with you, because food will be prepared for everyone, and it won't be like you'll prepare your food differently. So
Yeah, so 80 to 90% of the food from nutritional standpoint, vegetarian food minus the ghee and the butter is sorted. The rest, 10 to 20%, it's like individuals' constraint and choices, right? And that, for example, I do not care about the taste of food that much as I care about the nutrition aspect of it, right? I was wondering how to replace whey protein, and for that I had plant-based protein. Someone else may be a foodie and they want to replace the taste aspect of it. And there can be so many individual pointers, right? Like how to go vegan. All I'm saying is how to go vegan can be figured out. There will be someone who is very similar to you in their consumption and they can guide you, and they've already been doing it, right? But my focus today is, which you would have guessed by now, is that we should focus on why to go vegan. If the why is sorted, how you will figure out, because the vegan community in India is growing day by day. And it's a misconception that people have that only the upper middle class people and the rich and the elite are becoming vegan. I mean, of course, they are elites who are doing that, but there are people from middle class family, even from lower middle class family, who are becoming vegans. And there are students who are becoming vegans. And I know there are parents who are raising their kids as vegans. The only thing that we need to be sure of, and for that we have evidence today, that a well-balanced plant-based diet is adequate to take care of our nutritional requirement. So everything else is a desire, and it's about how to go about things, right? So now coming back to the earlier question, that do you like, what is it that will make you go vegan?
For example, if there is a social gathering, okay,
Okay.
and a person's birthday is there,
Yeah.
and the cake, it has milk products.
Right.
Are you going to be the only person who's not going to eat the cake, and the person who throws the birthday gets really offended because
Yeah.
you won't eat it?
Yeah. So in such a scenario, I'll be going to the birthday party of a friend who's really close to me and understands me. So there will be an alternate arrangement. And if someone is getting offended because of my ethical choice, then probably that is a good friendship to ditch.
Okay, but then obviously I understand your point.
And you're talking about how to go vegan. So we have a very big vegan community in Bangalore. I'm talking about what will make you go vegan from the why side of things, like from the ethics side of things, right? Earlier you said taste is too big of a barrier to cross, right? But you said that if you spend more time with farmed animals, then maybe your perspective will change.
Yes, perspective could change.
Okay. So thank you so much for saying that, for being open-minded today, that you didn't end the discussion on this note that you will not change for sure. And I can only request you to think from the victim's perspective. Veganism is a social justice movement whose main aim is to eradicate animal slavery. The animals are not products, they are not commodities, they are not here for our use, they are not here to be abused. Right? Was this a decent conversation?
It was a good conversation.
You're doing fine?
Yes, I'm doing fine, absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time, and I genuinely hope that you think more about this.
You said that you take workshops or something in schools or something.
I go to schools and colleges to conduct sessions on animal rights and empathy as well. There's an opportunity to talk to people and change. Right?
Yes. I mean, good work.
Thank you so much. It's only good work if you reflect on it and then probably change one day.
I mean, from this conversation, the only thing I'm going to take is I'm going to tell other people whom I'll meet probably next week or maybe in some another scenarios when they talk about vegan, and I'll tell them that that I met this guy and then we had a conversation, and then I'll tell them things and all. Probably my practices wouldn't change, maybe for a few reasons, but at the same time, I would not be a person who'll be defending myself or be telling being vegan is wrong or something. I would support them for whatever choices they're making.
Thank you so much for offering the support. The only thing is that vegans don't need the support, the animals need the support. So, and you said you'll not change, and of course because of the nurturing and the normalization. Do you think watching documentaries will help you, where you see what's happening with the chickens?
No, I have tried that.
You watch documentaries?
Some people, I have seen a documentary once on something like that, and maybe this person once showed me the chickens being cut and something, so it didn't.
Okay, so I mean, maybe a documentary is not a tool for you to change. We also host vigils where we go to dairy farms and slaughterhouses and spend time with these animals in their last moment, serve them water and stuff like that. Maybe you should join.
Yeah, probably that point.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying this, and at the risk of making this sound like a sales pitch, but it's not. It's essentially just trying to hold us accountable for what we are doing, right? So whatever helps us think from the victim's perspective. Cool?
Cool.
Okay, thank you so much
Nice
for your time.
meeting you.
Yeah. This was a tough conversation. Most an anti-vegan, but soft-spoken. I don't know how much of an impact that is, but I'm sure that this came out as a good conversation. So let's see.